Hey everybody, welcome to Cabin Fever, podcast by Offsite. I'm your host, Brian Valerio. Today we're talking to Rashad Rastam. Rashad hosts the Wear Many Hats podcast, which is aptly named because he also seems to wear many hats. He's the founder of Dahsar, a marketing and advertising agency here in Brooklyn. You've likely seen their stickers out on the street if you've been paying attention. And he also is launching a new venture, which he talks about on this podcast. So thanks for joining, and I hope you enjoy my interview with Rashad. What's up, man? What have you been up to?
Not much. Just been working on... It's all these, I don't know if people still use side quests, but it's all these side projects that became main projects that are now big projects in my life that have turned into a big part of my life. And so I've just been taking the new year by storm with these projects.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, I feel like for context here, you've got a lot of stuff that you do. You've got Wear Many Hats, the podcast, which you graciously had me on for. You've got Dahsar, which is the agency, correct? You play music, you shoot photos. You've got some other side projects coming up that I'm psyched to hear about.
It's coming along, but at the same time, it's finally here. Yeah. I'm always into the beginning parts of a project because you're just so excited about it.
It's always the most fun.
It's the most fun.
Yeah.
And then when you're going through the trenches, you're like, damn, why did I start this? And then when you make the mistakes, it starts back over again, and then the excitement happens again. So you get it. Yeah,
I've been there many times. It's there's definitely a honeymoon phase. Then real problems happen. You have a why on earth am I doing this moment? And then it's you get through it and you're like, that's why I'm doing this, 'cause this is absolutely worth it. Or it's not, and you're you make it a few months and you're not too much, not worth it. I'm out, but you're in. You're all in.
I'm all in. You don't realize how much you're in when you start. If you're that type of person where the money is the factor of all of it, oh yeah, I'm way in.
Yeah.
Let's just say that.
And you want to tell us what it is?
Let's just say the world. Yeah. Brian knows, I think, that Wear Many Hats, we now do the Wear Many Hats World Tour. Mm-hmm. That's basically the end. But how Wear Many Hats operates is by our studio, Dahsar, and it goes hand in hand. So whatever Dahsar does in our production agency or studio, we throw it back into the studio and the podcast, and then all the other projects within.
Awesome.
It's a big little umbrella.
Yeah, it's cool that they all kind of work together, and you've got everything kind of packaged up into this ecosystem that you've built that are feeding one another. So let's talk Wear Many Hats. You've been doing this you've got a lot of episodes under your belt at this point. Do you know how many?
Almost 350.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How long has it been going on?
It's been a journey. It all started in my early 20s with getting the name, and then we were in a studio in 2018, and then other projects started picking up, so then I put it off to the side. And then in 2020, when we were all inside our houses, we moved over to Zoom. So I like to say 2018, but in reality, full force in 2020. And there's about 350 episodes. We're about to start the new season. We've done a couple world tours where we interview people in different countries. What hats they wear, but at the same time, it was never supposed to be like that. It was supposed to be something else. The podcast has changed so dramatically, so much, and honestly, I kind of love that. So going back, it's it feels like the honeymoon phase every year. Yeah,
it's constantly evolving. When you say wear many hats, it's metaphorically as a creative, right? Not physically.
Yeah, the only person that thought it was physically was Pauly G of Pauly G's Pizza. When we had him on the show, he brought his whole hat collection.
That's epic. That is so
And he thought that we were going to go through all the hats, and I thought, wow, you're not the first. This is great. He also brought on Mrs. G, and she was so sweet, but
Dude, shout out Pauly G's Slice Shop is definitely my favorite slice in the city.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, I'm a big fan. I like, every once in a while I'll have another one that I'm like, maybe that's it, but no, it's like, that's the one that I go back to every single time. Yeah, I love that spot. It's so good.
Yeah, so no, not. It
Not-
can be honestly whatever you want it to be at this point.
Yeah. No, I don't have a super solid hat collection. I've been wearing yours, actually.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. I got the beanie in here somewhere.
Oh, great.
Yeah, it's
And
been
the
it's been my staple for the winter.
Nice.
Yeah. But yeah, that's rad. And 350 episodes. It's like you would hope it would kind of evolve over that many. If it's not changing significantly over that much time, I feel like it would get tiring, or you got to keep switching it up.
That's
Progressing,
true.
Right?
Yeah. We were going super hard with the episodes. We originally started doing YouTube in lockdown, but I didn't want to do YouTube anymore. I didn't want to do podcasting YouTube.
Yeah,
That was just for the show. I just wanted it to be audio because I'm always riding my bike around. I'm always listening to podcasts, audiobooks, music. I was just talking to someone the other day how, Ubers and Lyfts and taxi cabs, they're just watching TV now.
Yeah, fully. Yeah, it's like you can't do anything without a screen going these days. It's insane. Yeah, literally driving. It's like, it's so funny. But no, I agree. I think it's like the medium is audio. It's so annoying. Even like you open up Spotify and it starts playing the video, and you like try and close it, and then it's just like a little screen on your little screen, and trying to figure out how to get rid of it because you're trying to do something else, like write in your notes app while it's playing. But yeah, I feel that. I don't know. It's awesome, man. That's like massive commitment. I think one of the hardest things of like being a creative and like running businesses is just being like consistent day in, day out, and to put down like 350 of those, in a couple of years is like, it's a feat.
It is. I have this weird theory. I mean, with the studio, it's not in our success levels by any means, but we had this point where when we had this crazy dip, suddenly out of nowhere, that dip just turned into like something great at the end. And I feel like Wear Many Hats will have that similar thing. Mm-hmm. And I think it's just if I use the same formula for all my projects, I think it would just be fine.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's just like, things change, you figure it out, keep moving forward. Hustling. And so that you got Wear Many Hats, that's the podcast. You're interviewing creatives, wearing, a ton of different hats, making it work, figuring it out. Then the studio, Dahsar, what's it like? What are you doing with that on a daily basis?
So we produce a bunch of advertising and marketing materials for a bunch of brands, musicians, other agencies, other advertising agencies, campaigns. We do from wheat pasting to billboards. We've originally started as a clothing line that switched it up to a merch production company. So brands would just hit us up to create all their merch. And from there on, we just suddenly turned back into what I went to school for.
Which was?
Art direction and advertising at Temple. People would like to say, like, oh, you're working in your field. I'm like, it wasn't like
kind of.
Yeah.
I'd step back into it.
It was kind of crazy. But it's gone through a bunch of different iterations, and now we get hit up to shoot events, photography. Now the BTS is front of house.
Yeah.
So everyone's using our footage for campaigns. So that's my day-to-day with Dahsar, and honestly, can't be more proud of it.
Yeah, it's really cool. And I think, I don't know, like not no one, but it's to focus on, like, I feel like your primary medium is like physical. Wheat pasting, merch, billboards, like it's a lot of print, and I don't know, it's like refreshing to see like that being the focus again, instead of just like another agency buying up as many Facebook or like, Google AdWords as possible. I feel like there's been a big I wonder if you felt this in the business is like there's been the cost for like digital advertising has just increased, and like the return on ad spend is like decreased. That I feel like a lot of brands have started like moving back into like more traditional like wheat paste campaigns and billboard ads, like stuff like that. Have you felt like some momentum kind of pushing back into that corner of advertising?
With everything.
Yeah.
Only because of the fact that I think that people yearn for traditional and going back to how things used to be.
Right. I mean, it's the vinyl, it's the film photography, it's,
Yeah. I mean, it's cool that we're thinking about the future when it comes to AI or, I don't know, you can do things in your sleep, but sometimes you still want to work with other people.
Yeah, totally. Definitely on the people part. But also, like, I think, I don't know, maybe I'm just, like, old and jaded, but, like, I also, like, I love wheat paste campaigns in New York City. It's, like, such an iconic part of, it's like the backdrop of New York on so many levels. And to see that, like, I feel like it's come back, but, like, it was less prevalent for a minute. Even the construction sites now, like, they're putting up the 2x4s, like, all over, so you can't do it. But I don't know, it's really nice to see people investing back into that because I think it does bring something more than just selling the goods. Like it creates a texture like within the city, which is also important. Probably not as important as actually working with other people, but I think still really relevant in like the way that as a business owner, like I want to like if I've got to spend money on advertising, like I would so much rather be spending it on something like that could actually exist in the real world and be something people can touch and like relate to and interact with and maybe even contributes visually to like the architecture in the city as opposed to I think it's not just like wheat paste is not graffiti every time. Like if it's done well, it's really, really cool. And the stuff you guys do is like awesome.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, it's design, right? Like it's design just like put up around the city.
Someone like to call me an artist. That's what a stretch.
Don't sell yourself short. You also play music. You are an artist. Photography, music, like you're.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true. I play guitar and sing. Yeah.
Are you playing like actively in the city?
I'm not playing actively in the city, but I do have a good 30, 45-minute set. So about like I could play 9 songs in a set. All originals, maybe some pumpkin songs if you ask me. But that has always been the goal since day one, if that could ever happen.
To be a musician.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But also there's like a weird side quest of also being a stand-up comedian one day. But
yeah, I want to talk about that too. I had the same. So my trajectory into architecture was that when I was in high school, I played guitar. I felt like the two things that would like move me most were like either like listening to a song that like really connects with you, like instantly like change your mood, your attitude, put you in tears, and make you like so psyched, or like walking into a space that was just like super powerful. And so like the two things I was like, well, I would obviously really like to be a musician. Terrible at music, could never play. So like architecture seems like a good path to go down. Because like personally as an art form like that, it was impactful to me in a way that like most things were not. But I always wanted to be a musician as well. But I'm just so bad. My wife is really good. So
your wife also plays music?
She sings. So she went to college on a singing scholarship. She was in an a cappella group in college. Yeah. It's epic. So she has like a really sick voice. And she played in a band in LA for a while, sang, and she's looking where that's like I would say like a New Year goal. She's been in New York for 5 years now, but has never found like kind of like group to play with here. Just as like a passion project now. But she is amazing. Pushing for her to go do it again because she just enjoys it so much. But on that note, stand-up comedy, I think, is like the most vulnerable art form. Like it is the thing that would scare me probably the most in life that I would like voluntarily do. Have you done sets?
I've done a couple sets.
Yeah. How was it?
It was great.
Yeah.
Every single time.
Man.
I have two Type 5s, so yeah, I could pull them together. It'd be like 10 minutes. If I wanted to keep going, I could riff, so that would be an extra, like... Every minute, though, is a long time.
Yeah, I would imagine.
Yeah,
like,
it's crazy.
You must feel like, yeah, like an 8-minute set probably feels like your entire life, especially if it's not going well.
Yeah, no.
Like were you terrified the first time you went up?
No, only because so how I got into stand-up, I always wanted to do stand-up in Philly, which is where I'm from. I'm from outside of Philadelphia, and I wish I started in Philly because the standards are low. Like, you could just really go in there. You could just do whatever. In New York,
but I feel like the crowd is even more brutal.
I mean, everywhere is brutal,
Yeah.
but you have nothing to lose in Philly. And in New York, you kind of have, honestly, everything to lose. In New York, I started off by... I took classes. I took a bunch of classes, from Gotham Writers to UCB to Second City, now Comedy Cellar. And so I like classes only because it just pushes me to write. I can write at home, but they get you up on the mic in front of your classmates, and so it's just super easy from there on. But going out to open mics and doing it on your own, dude, it is just lonely.
Yeah.
You kind of want a comedy partner with you, only because the fact that it's, accountability. You're just like hyping each other up as well. But B, it's like you'll push yourself to keep doing it and like keep writing. You won't get into creative blocks. That's how I believe. Whereas in music, I can go to an open mic or like be put on the bill. It's fine.
Yeah. Do you feel like the performing music and just being comfortable like on a stage was helpful in that regard?
I mean, I'm still terrified.
Does it feel the same or no?
It's definitely different. It's still definitely different, but after the one song, you just get warmed up. It's fine.
Yeah, it's like comedy is like music to an extent, but there's still, I don't know, it's like there's still like a translation of kind of thought and feeling like into music, whereas like stand-up comedy is just like you're just so raw and like I don't even know the word, but it's just like you're just exposed. Like every part of you is just exposed. It's just you up there.
The goal for me is to do crowd work. Yeah. I love crowd work, so I love watching crowd work, but I really want to do crowd work. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, man. It's on my like bucket list to do, just only because I'm so terrified of it, and it's so not my personality. Like I do not like, I don't mind public speaking, but like I don't like performing. Just anything like that for me is just like a hard no. But yeah, man, good on you. I feel like you've got wear many hats, but I feel like you wear more hats than anyone.
I just have no idea what to do with myself these days, so I just pick up a hobby and just do it, and it sticks.
Yeah, I feel like you know exactly what to do. You're like you're never sitting still. Yeah, I mean, I guess on that point, like what's like a day for you? Like, where do you? I mean, I'm interested, especially with like Offsite. Like, we create spaces for work. Like, when you are going to work on the studio versus write music or comedy or, work on the podcast. Like, is this all happening in the same space? Do you have like different locations that you like to go like kind of get yourself into like a mindset for?
Yeah, that's a great question. Actually start off the day with what is needed first. I usually schedule all my podcast episodes with guests at around in the morning, like either 9 a.m. or 10 a.m. So it's pretty fresh. If it's not a podcast day, it's a studio day. But since I don't need to go anywhere the first half of the day, I'll be in the living room just working on both the podcast and the studio stuff. But I do have to like leave and go to either a co-working space, the office that I share in Chinatown, or a coffee shop. Yeah. It's down the street, yeah.
Just to switch it up and get out of the house and like, get the mind moving. I'm the same way. I have a really hard time working from home on like a lot of, there's some stuff I can, emails, whatever, anything that's like not bad and requires like focus or creativity, I've like got to get out of the house. Yeah, that's super interesting. Have you done any sort of like retreats before, like creative getaways, or just kind of like, I don't know, I feel like you're traveling like all the time for the podcast and for work, so it's like, have you done any that are just like, I am going to like sit down and get this thing knocked out and I'm gonna, go?
I've never done any organized retreats.
Yeah.
I've only made up retreats for myself.
Yeah.
Which is the Wear Many Hats World Tour for me. I think it's because I don't travel with other people. Mm-hmm. I just travel by myself.
Yeah, and I guess that's what I mean. Like, not like I guess there are these like organized, like collective retreats that people go on.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was talking more just like a self-imposed, like, I'm gonna go to this location, just crank.
Yeah, definitely. Actually, I mean, everything last year, I was gone half the year, even the year before that, the other half. I'm trying to make it now a tradition that I'm going away another half of the year every year, and I realize that is kind of insane. Yeah, I mean, but do you feel like you're gonna like on the road that whole time, or just like, I'm going to Mexico City for like 6 months and just setting up shop? Yeah, the thing is, I wish I could do that. Yeah. If people from the studio call and I have to be on site, then I'll immediately can the trip and just come back. Yeah, at the wills of others. That's why I don't post that much of the trip on stories while I'm traveling. Yeah. Because everyone is always asking, like, are you in New York City? And I'm like, yeah, I'm in New York City. Yeah, I feel that. It is hard. Like, it's crazy how difficult it gets the older you get to actually, like, be mobile. Like, I have a kid now, so it's like, it's just a non-starter for the most part. But, like, even before that, it just get every year harder and harder to, like, spend time away. I think I really started to love just being in New York and having like a home base and putting roots down a bit. But yeah, man, the idea of like going somewhere for 6 months especially the winter here would be awesome. How did you said you're from Philly originally? Mm-hmm. How'd you end up in New York? What's the journey? The journey. Young Rashad to... The journey, man, there's just so many different ones. You know how everyone always asks that question of how long have you been in New York? Yeah. But it's funny, what if that person asked like a local that question? You know? Like someone who's like actually lived there. Yeah. They just know they'll never find one. Yeah, exactly. But I've had so many different first times in New York. I mean, different eras. But the one that's mostly known out there is when I started working at a different studio in Greenpoint at 6-7 West, and that actually got me off the ground. But that was such a long time ago. That was a decade ago. Yeah. But I've gone through other iterations of New York. Man, there's just like so many. That you would like come here for a bit and then go back. Yeah. I mean, for someone that has, besides, people that go to school here and then they stay. My trajectory is like, I go back, I've lived here, and then I move back to Philly for either an emergency or just can't anymore. It's like the back and forth. This is my third time back. And my third time back, I've been here the longest, but it's the most successful, quote-unquote, run of my time in New York. Yeah, New York's hard. Like, didn't do the same. I went to one semester of college here, my first semester in 2007. Lasted a semester and was like just not ready for New York City, and left, moved to Portland, Oregon, spent 5 years there, and then came back in 2011. I've been here since, except for 1 year post-COVID in Rhode Island, which we tried out and decided wasn't ready to give up being a New Yorker yet. Got pretty bored. But yeah, it's like, I don't know, it's like, I've had so many friends that have gone through that same process of like, in kind of fits and starts, and then eventually you either stop coming and trying to make it work, or you figure it out and it works for you. You just like hit a point in your life where it does work. But yeah, I mean, best city in the world. Good place to be. It is. Any corner you turn, there's always opportunity, in my opinion.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I feel like especially with your podcast and like all the people you've interviewed, I know they're not all from New York, but I feel like you, more than anyone, are like, anyone I know at least, like so dialed into the New York creative scene and like know so many people throughout it through the podcast and your work and stuff. Yeah, do you feel like the like community has been something that like has, I don't even know the question I'm asking here, but like something that you've seen like evolve and change over time, like in different ways over the past decade?
Oh yeah, there's a new chapter. I feel like now it's every year.
Yeah.
But now I always feel like it's almost down to 6 months.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's not the same New York once was 5 years ago.
Yeah, yeah. I agree with that. I feel like I've gone through whatever, 12, 13 years now. At least 3 different New Yorks that I've like lived in here. But yeah, it's like definitely constantly evolving. It's, I don't know. I feel like you're at every party taking photos, everything. Your Instagram feed is just like so many sick events and people doing creative stuff. And did you get tired?
Oh, wow. I get that from my Philly days. So it's not that when I was in Philly, I actually had a full Philly life.
Yeah.
And everyone can also say that the good old days of Philly were better than the days that are today. Mm-hmm. But, that's always, everyone's going to say that.
Yeah.
That everyone's going to say that. And during my time in Philly, I used to go out all the time, like every night. Mm-hmm. I love spending time at home. I'm always at home, actually, which is, people don't think that. But yeah, when I lived in Philly, I had a lot of friends that asked me do I sleep? And to answer that question, no, I didn't. Yeah. I never slept in Philly. I was always out, always having a great time. The party scene was amazing. And it was like a really, really small community in Philly. When you have to leave when people actually start seeing you regularly?
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, I can't do this anymore. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's Philly. My sister lived there, so I know it like decently well. And it's a very small town and very even smaller kind of creative community. I think out of there, some really awesome stuff happening, especially now. I feel like a lot of people moved there, even like pre-COVID, but just like a lot of people from like, our generation of creatives here were like, New York's too expensive. We're going to Philly. And like started awesome studios and like, a lot of cool like design shops coming out of there and stuff. I've had multiple friends move there. And so I do think there's like an awesome scene, but it's really small. Like everyone knows everyone. I felt the same way about Portland, Oregon when I lived there. I was just like, at one day I was like, you can't go to a bar without seeing at least like 3 people you know.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I love New York for that reason that like you can go to the bar and see 3 people you know, or you could also walk into any bar and see absolutely no one and like stay a bit hidden.
Portland, Oregon was where we started like, so Dahsar also had a mini tour. We did a tour too back when we started off, and Portland was one of our first cities. We used to design hats, so we would source some fabric out in Portland, Oregon, and that's how we got a lot of inspiration. This was pre-Portlandia.
That was like Portland. I was there 2000 after I left here, so 7 through 11, which I feel like was like right in that Portlandia era, and it was it was an awesome place. It was like super weird. There was so much cool stuff going. I think it's like grown up a lot since then in many ways, for better and worse, I'm sure. But yeah, it's like it was such a cool spot. Still is. Great city, but yeah, that's rad. If you had to like relocate out in New York, where would you go?
Man, I got this question in a different country, and I did not know where.
We'll do 2. You go any American city and then anywhere.
Man, that is so hard. I would have to think. I want to try Portland. Yeah. I do want to try Portland, but I also want to try like Austin, Texas. I want to try I want to try something as simple as like Wyoming or Montana. One of the two. Or I don't know.
Somewhere outside of like the
Yeah. I don't think Chicago, but I do have a good friend in Chicago, so it'd be easy.
Chicago's got a lot. I feel like it's got some stuff going on.
The thing is, I hate the cold.
Yeah,
and I really hate the cold. I hate the cold now.
I agree with you. I would not go somewhere that has the same.
Yeah. Snowboarding and skiing is fine. I can do it, but
it's different if you're like in the mountains. Yeah. Like there's a difference between like being in a frigid city and being like in a mountains in the winter where it's like you can take advantage of the weather.
I don't even understand how people camp in the cold. Like
good gear. That's how.
Yeah, no. So that's why I'm like, I have to stay. I want to go to a warmer city, and then if it's anywhere outside of the good old USA. We went to Thailand last year. I have really good friends in Thailand, so I'd probably stay there for a year.
Yeah.
But I think Japan would be one of the spots I'd live in for sure.
It's the best.
Only,
so sick.
It is, and also only because I can commit to learning a language as well, because I love it so much.
Yeah. Japan would be amazing. I could see you out there, like for sure.
It's happening.
Yeah, Kyoto too. Rad. Kyoto, I'm in love with.
It's great.
It is such a cool city. There is so much there's so many cool outdoors brands there because you're right in the mountains and there's all the hiking.
Montbell, let's go.
Yeah. But yeah, I back that. I'd come visit.
We need an offsite camp in Japan.
Yeah, I would love that. Definitely one day work towards that. I mean, they have. The only reason I would say I wouldn't do it is because there's already so many good, Snow Peak has a bunch of campgrounds out there, which are all gorgeous. And they just opened their first U.S. location, too. And it's very different vibe than Offsite, but it's camping done as good as you can do camping, pretty much. Yeah, so, I think so. I definitely, look up to them as a brand in a lot of ways. But, it's I would absolutely love to. It's part of it's I don't know. There's so many people out there doing it so well already as well. But yeah, I'm sure there's opportunity in some of the areas. There's so much of Japan that I just haven't explored yet, up north especially, that I'm dying to go to.
Oh yeah.
Well, it's definitely, if the opportunity ever arose, I think we would jump on it for sure.
Oh yeah.
An excuse to get back there more.
That's what Pete Williams, friend and guest of the show, he's up there right now in Japan in North skiing. And I could only imagine that's what I would want to do.
Yeah.
I'd be really excited to go skiing there.
Yeah, I've never been, but, it's supposed to be all time. One of Offsite's doing a cabin, a friend, Kevin, and he is out there right now as well, snowboarding. So yeah, I feel a lot of people are out there right now. I think they're having a good season.
I think that people should go in every decade of their life.
Yeah, that's a good rule.
I first went to Japan in my 20s in a very lucky circumstance with one of my best friends who's half Japanese, and we went there for a week. Best time. And then twice already in my 30s.
Yeah.
But also I have to go back there again this year.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Make it a regular.
I think it's going to have to be, which is I never expected that to be. But yeah, Asia is crazy already. This year's already being planned out to being a crazy world travel situation.
I'm jealous. Go have fun.
There's going to be a time where it's going to stop, but it's all good.
No, that's super exciting though. Yeah, I'm excited to see all the stuff that comes about from it as you go travel the world. Yeah, it'll be rad. What else you got going on? What's been happening locally these days?
Well, locally, which was also a thing that I did not expect to happen, is that we started doing my bag of tricks. I brought goodies that I did not expect that would actually be ready at this time. Maybe if I do, but it's in this sweet little bag. So the reason why I have to go to Japan now every year is because start a matcha brand.
All right, it's here.
It's here.
Yeah, we were talking about this last time I saw you. That's awesome.
Yeah. It's called Matsar.
Matsar.
Yeah.
This is rad.
Yeah.
Made in Japan.
I went
Imported by Dahsar LLC, Brooklyn, New York.
Yeah.
How was that process of like actually importing in like food from Japan? What?
A little measuring spoon.
This is awesome.
Their branding on it. Yeah, you can clip
What-
the bag too if you're using coffee.
That's really rad. Yeah, this is
Yeah. That's fresh in there. Isn't that crazy?
This is so cool. The packaging is so cool. It's like a pop top. Open up a soda can. Yeah, congrats, man. This is huge. You've been working on this for a while.
Yeah. It's been an interesting ride for sure.
Yeah, what have been some of the challenges that you've kind of had starting this?
The challenges with that has to be originally trying to figure out how I was going to find the right farm.
Yeah.
But if it wasn't for the Wear Many Hats World Tour, I know I keep bringing that up, but when we went to Malaysia, I found a new friend through a barista that also had their own matcha brand, and they connected me with the farm. So outside from Malaysia, that's where I'm from. After that leg of the tour, we flew to Japan, and we just spent a whole month in Japan.
That's amazing. So is there like I know this is common, is there like a matcha region of Japan where there's like a bunch of different farms, or you just found this one farm that was...
There's a bunch
of
different farms. The two main ones that people know about are like Uji, and you can also, there's some in like Kyoto, and then there's some like all the way in the far east. Mine's in Ismo, so it's in the like southwest.
Cool.
So yeah, there's farms all around.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, that was the only challenging part.
Was finding the farm. Yeah. It wasn't tough to like figure out how to actually import it in. That was like fairly straightforward. That's why that seems like it would be not that easy to me. And like, how has it been communicating with them?
So that was the best part. So my friend who found our farm was that the number one thing would have to be just know a little bit of English.
Yeah.
And he does.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he was just wonderful. Spent the whole day just learning everything, going to the tea factory. He's got everything.
That's super cool. I admittedly don't know much about matcha. So like like Japan, I'm guessing, is like known for their matcha. And are there like different variations of it, like coffee, like in that you have like these different kind of like, And so what is this in terms of like taste profile?
It's got grassy roots. It's got grassy flavors, but also at the same time it's ceremonial grade. It's top notch. And the funny part about it is that there are different types. Like you can have organic or non-organic, but the thing is that we wanted to keep it simple and keep it affordable and make matcha for everyone. Yeah. So right now, it's funny, Matsar, even though it is a matcha brand, we're more focused on wellness as well.
Cool.
And Matsar means memories, so you can take it wherever you go.
Yeah, it's rad. It's super beautifully. I like that. The name is awesome too. Congrats, man. It's huge.
Thanks.
When is it, if it's not already, when is it going to be available?
We've got a crazy next few months happening of like a lot of special surprises that's happening.
Cool.
The thing is that I've been trying to focus on Wear Many Hats only because the fact that for an interesting reason last year, PR started picking us up and sending guests our way, and we were trying to figure that whole thing out. And then now with the matcha brand, starting the matcha brand was one of the most interesting things in my life, only because the fact that I didn't think it was going to happen the same way how my studio started.
Yeah.
And I re-met with a friend, and he like pushed me to do it.
Yeah.
He was like, "You got to do this."
Just in the sense that like it wasn't something you were like planning. It was just kind of like a floating idea.
Yeah, I was gonna can it.
Yeah.
With everything that I do, I always have this like panic button that I would want to just like can the project.
Yeah.
But
I feel like that's totally normal.
oh yeah. Yeah, and same with the podcast. You know, I always wanted to can that. Honestly, I wanted to can everything.
Yeah.
But it's doing something.
I mean, this has been ripping. You know, there's nothing to think this isn't going to do the same.
Yeah. It's weird. I think for me, what I've learned is that because I'm a one-man shop with everything, you know, they say that you should have, who's they, right? People say that you should have a co-founder.
Yeah. I feel like, I mean, I have a lot of thoughts on that, but go ahead. Yeah.
Right. Everyone has their own thoughts on it, but I always say great things come in twos or in pairs or with a group, because you can just bounce ideas back and forth. I'm literally bouncing this off either just my inner thoughts or with creative friends.
Yeah.
And the worst part is that, like, I don't know if I'm doing it right because I just think it's right. But I run on affirmations, and I run on, like, if people like it or not. It's, like, kind of like a personal focus group. But I just need to know if I think it's good, fine. But the thing is that we have connected and, you know, got outside agencies to like, and studios to help with like either the branding and just with the whole process. And I realized that I just needed to listen to myself and trust things that I'm going to do, because look, the last two current projects that I'm working on, I don't know if it's making noise. I just know that's making noise to my parents. So if they like it, like, for an example, I showed them the spoon. Never even showed them the matcha yet. I showed them the spoon. My dad was so psyched on it. I looked at his face. I was like, that is the same face you made when I graduated college. Should I have just made a spoon?
Are they hypercritical normally? Is that like...
They are.
Yeah.
They are, but they just don't, you know, the traditional way of doing things in life is, you know, you go to school,
right,
graduate, and then get a good paying job, right? That's cool. Like, go off. When you just can't, you just make shit.
Which I feel like, you know, our generation, so many of us have like gone down that route. I mean, my mom, anything that I could make like a, you know, stick figure drawing and tell her this was, and she would think it was like the greatest thing I ever made still. But that's really rad.
Well, that's a nice mom. My mom would not.
Well, yeah. Sorry, I'm just saying this to say that, like, I think in terms of like being a solo entrepreneur, the most important thing is just like having a network of people you can rely on to like bounce things off of and say like, this is trash, or no, this is good, you should keep going, like keep running with this. And so like if you have that community, you're in a really good spot already. And then the second thing is like having spent time, which I know you have, working with other people in your youth that are really good at what they do, whether that's through school or through working at, you know, with just kind of interning or working your way up through a company, of knowing like what good actually looks like and being super self-critical. And so like if you can design a spoon and be like, this is trash, it needs to go. I'm not saying this spoon's epic, but like, you know, this thing that I made is trash and we need to go back to the drawing board and start over. We need to like tell the factory to like halt this now so that we can get it right. Like if you have those skill sets, then yeah, I think like, yes, having a co-founder is always nice if it's the right co-founder. Otherwise, like, you know, you're in a really difficult like relationship dynamic that can be, I'd say it kills as many companies as it helps, probably more than it helps succeed, because it doesn't work out. So I think that's I feel like that's changing. Like I was reading something about this the other day too. It's like that all comes from like I feel like Y Combinator and like the tech world where they like have some stat that it's just like a little bit, it's like 5% more likely. I'm butchering this. I don't know what it is, but it was like more likely for their companies to succeed if they had a co-founder. So they wouldn't even take companies that were solo founded. But I think that is just changing.
I also think that's funny. Even you bringing that up, I'm sure people don't even know what you're saying.
Like in
the tech world or startup world.
Yeah, it's also just like such a different business dynamic there. It's like those guys are just, it's a numbers game and they're gambling on these like moonshot ideas, whereas like building small sustainable businesses is just a very different like game. Like, you're just doing something, for that is not a passion project, but like something that you care about and are passionate about and want to be like your life's work. Which I think is just very different than a lot of people that are going through that, like Silicon Valley, venture capital boosted process. So yeah, it's just like, the rules don't apply. They're not the same. That's my personal opinion on it, I'm sure.
No, and I agree. Yeah. I agree only because I remember, this is bringing up a memory. When I started my studio, I had someone that wanted to invest in the studio, and my parents were telling me to not take it, and I thought that was like the best thing I ever did. Yeah. Then it grew up to be what it is, and then now we're funding the podcast, which the podcast is taking life on its own. And now I'm dipping into the CPG food world, which I grew up, as a barista and in the food space. So it's not any different. I was also a men's buyer for a streetwear store a long time ago. So I have been to a bunch of markets from, Capsule to Agenda. And so I know how the landscape of having your own brand is, but just bootstrapping and doing it myself has just been a lot less stress.
Yeah.
Than having to deal with outside
noise. I think there's definitely like perks to both. And it's like, I think there's a ton of companies too that like take on investors. They're not necessarily like venture capital investors too. And so it's like, friends and family or angels, like Offsite has investors, but they're all so supportive and like, the expectations are made super clear, I think, in the beginning. And so it's just like a very different, mode of building businesses. Like neither is right or wrong. They're just different. But I think
I would have taken that money.
Yeah. There's like that, some companies just like need money. Like some things are really expensive to start up. Yeah. And some are, you can bootstrap on your own and build, slowly over time. So it's just like there's different natures to them. I commend anyone, and just my personality is fighting for the the dude doing it on his own, bootstrapping, bringing community together to get things built. And I think a lot of the people that spend time at Offsite doing things that way, it's like this kind of indie mentality of I don't know, just really, really gritty. I think grit is the word that you use applicable to it. You're just gonna fly to Japan, you're gonna figure it out, you're gonna find the factory, you make it happen, you'll get it here, and you'll figure out how to sell it.
But I didn't think that was gonna be me. That's the thing. What you just said?
Yeah.
I did not think that was gonna happen to me.
Why? You've been doing all this other stuff that you've just kind of figured it out and built the ship as it was sailing.
I just never thought.
Yeah. That's probably that's probably a very healthy thing as well to have not be full on I got this, never gonna fail, have some trepidation going into it. I don't know, man. It's a big accomplishment to get anything physically made and to exist in the world. It takes so much work and effort. I think it's awesome.
One of my good friends that is a mentor and a collaborator of mine, he always thinks that one day the music is gonna pick up and I'm just gonna can everything.
So you're running this till you become a rock star.
It's that's kind of where it's at right now.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I would do the same, I think. No, this is awesome. I'm super psyched. So,
Thanks.
do you have anything about it, like coming up, pop-ups, anything like that you want to share with people, or is that it's all coming out? Where should we keep an eye out for this stuff?
You can keep an eye out on, I guess, online on Instagram. Our Instagram is at Matsar. And you can go to our website, matsar.com, and to find more info about it. Yeah, there's a lot going on in the works, which I did not expect. And that's like the best part about starting a new project.
Yeah.
And, right now I am in the honeymoon phase, but if it wasn't for the studio and if it wasn't for the podcast, yeah, this new project is kind of working its magic.
Yeah.
But it's kind of fun because it feels like each project is helping each other.
Totally. Yeah. I mean, I think you've got, like we talked in the beginning, like back to it's like you've got this little ecosystem that you've built that's like, the studio, the product, and the podcast that are all like kind of running simultaneously. And they definitely like complement one another. Well, that's awesome, man. Thank you so much. Congrats. This is so sick.
Thank you.
Really psyched for you and can't wait to see where Matsar goes. Big. It's big. All right. Thanks, man.
Oh, yeah. Thanks.
Appreciate it.
Of course.
Any last words?
You can find the podcast at wearmanyhats.com. You can find our studio at Dahsar.com. Nothing.
Where can we find your stand-up sets?
Oh, yeah, that's what I was going to get to. There's nothing that you can find else about me on YouTube just yet, thank God.
No, that's awesome. We'll link to everything in the show notes
Cool.
and make sure people can find you. But thanks for coming in, man. Appreciate it. Best of luck with everything. We're here for the ride and enjoy the travels. We're on tour.
Me too.